Hello everyone. We're going to take a look at WAMAP Unit 7.1c, continuation of order of operations, this time with fractions. This is our problem, -5 plus 6 squared minus -3, all over -1 plus 2 minus 6. So let's take a look at the tablet and see what that looks like. So when we talk about parentheses, we know we have regular parentheses, square brackets, curly brackets, and also fraction lines. So this basically means we want to simplify the numerator completely and denominator completely before we have them interact with each other. So this means do all of this first as far as you can, and then do all of this second. So this is like a horizontal parenthesis. All right, so we're still going to apply the same rules of PEMDAS. We do have a set of parentheses here, but no operation. This is a negative number, and this is a convention, a different approach. Sometimes they use parentheses around a negative number to protect the negative sign. So it's just to avoid confusion, and I hope it doesn't confuse you. So we don't have any parentheses in this one, none that we have to worry about in terms of PEMDAS. So we're going to look for exponents, and we do have one here, so that's going to be first. And why don't we go ahead and flag our operations. There's one here and one here, and then one here. This is just a three-step. In the denominator, we have addition and an exponent and a subtraction. And then we have two negative numbers, right? So these are integers which bring in negative. You might want to check out my worksheet on dealing with negativity. That'll help you understand how to do math operations with negative numbers. All right, so we're going to go ahead and evaluate this. 6 squared, and I do recommend rewriting the whole thing each time. So we're going to have, let's do the denominator over here. We'll do -5 plus 6 squared is 36 minus -3. All right. And so we're just going to continue down. We've got now just two operations left. And I guess if we were going to label these, we'd have first and then second. Oops, second and third. Sorry, those lines are too high for my tablet. So this addition comes before the subtraction, not because we write A and then S, but because we work from left to right. The same way we read, when you have two or more operations on the same level, you just go left to right, same as we read in English. So we're going to do the addition first, and we've got -5 plus 36, and the rule on my dealing with negativity worksheet or guide sheet is if the signs are different and we have a +36 and a -5, then we take the difference between the two numbers, and the difference between 5 and 36 is 31. And the larger number, the number with the larger absolute value here, has a positive sign. So we're going to have a positive sign survive on the number that's left. And then we're going to subtract -3. So now we just have one more operation, but we're subtracting a negative. And something else that dealing with negativity sheet tells you, if you have two signs, and you can consider an operation similar to a sign, when you're subtracting a negative, it becomes its opposite, which is to add. You're going to add a positive instead. So let's rewrite this. Let's grab a different color. We're going to have +31 plus 3. So we're adding 31 and 3, and we're going to get 34. And you don't have to use that positive sign here. It's assumed it's positive unless you are saying it's negative. So right now we have the first part of our fraction. Don't forget to do your denominator here. So let's take a look at that. We've got 1, 2 operations, right? Let's flag them. And they're both on the same level, right? Addition, subtraction. So we work from left to right. -1 plus 2, that's what we're evaluating first. The signs of these numbers are different. So we're going to take the difference between the two numbers. Difference between 1 and 2 is 1. So let's write a 1 here. And then the larger number, the number with the larger absolute value is 2. So we have a positive 1. And that's the end of the evaluation of these two numbers. And then we're going to subtract 6. So this number, positive 1 minus 6, is the same as looking at two numbers with different signs. So we're going to take the difference between these two numbers and get 5. And then the number with the larger absolute value is 6, which has a negative sign. So that negative sign will survive to this number, and this becomes our denominator. And it's negative. Okay, so we have 34 over negative 5, and what we need to do is see if we can reduce this fraction. You always want to be reducing fractions. And one easy way to do that is to do a prime factorization. And if they don't have any of the same factors, then they are called co-prime, which is like mutually prime, which means they don't have any shared factors. And you don't have to reduce that fraction anymore. So 32, we can take out a 2, get 16, take out a 2 and get 8, take out a 2 and get 4, take out a 2 and get 2. So 2 to the 5th power is 32. Some of you may have, oops. But we're working with 34. Oh well. Shake it off, John. All right, so 34. Let's go just a little bit further back in the history. 34. So I've said this in a lot of videos because I make this mistake a lot because I'm chatting and all distracted. Transcription errors are really hard to avoid. Best way to avoid them is just practice and then be slow and careful. Slow and steady wins the race. And any math test you take that counts will be erased because it's timed. So if you catch those errors, just get back in there and figure out the correct answer. 34 divided by 2 is 17. And that's a prime number. So we've got two prime numbers. Our prime factorization is done. 2 times 17 is the prime factorization of 34. And 5, we're just going to worry about factoring these numbers as whole number, as positive numbers. 5 is prime itself. 2, 17, and 5 are the prime factors, so they don't have any overlap. These two numbers are mutually prime or co-prime. Let's write that down here. And if you need to look this up, you can go to Khan Academy and search for co-prime, or you can go into the Canvas support class and look for co-prime, and you may find a link that goes to that. Last thing I'm going to say about this is a bit of math grammar. When you have a negative sign, and a negative sign in the numerator or denominator makes a fraction negative, you remember the rule that when you divide numbers with different signs, the result is negative, right? And we like to have our denominators uncluttered, right? So what we're going to do is call this, we're going to rewrite this as negative 34 over 5. And that's the best way to write that. Let's take this back to WAMAP. Oops, if we can. There we go. So all of this looks very complicated. This boils down to negative 34 slash 5. Oops. Got to watch those transcription errors. Negative 34 over 5. And just submit that answer. Okay, we got the green check. That's a green light to go. Why don't you guys try this one and watch it? You've got exponent. There's an exponent here in the denominator this time. Just go ahead and give that a try. I already answered this one, so you might want to get a similar question if you've already gone through yours. Give this a try, and if you get stuck, please send me an email. Just click on that message instructor button, and you don't have to say anything, just send it to me, and we can talk about how to solve that problem. Good luck.